Hey, I can see Bruce.
Just before the meeting starts up and everybody else starts joining, I really like how the panelist and the participants works like that. This is my first Zoom meeting that had that aspect built into it. So I've done lots of Zoom meetings, but this is the first time that sort of had this panelists and attendees function. I really like that. That works pretty well.
I was just wondering where you got your background, or like that's unless it's really cold up your way still.
No, that's just a picture from my rink. They're just right across the street from my house. We saw my neighbor's property there, and he lets us, as a community, like everybody, like all the guys, go together and pitch in and get to work, and just it beats seeing the back of my house. Where the bit this.
So I saw. There we go. Hey, there's everybody. Okay,
Yeah,
so
mine-
I
except for
have to.
Tom.
Sorry.
No, Tom.
Oh,
I know it wouldn't let me back in. I had to try 5 times.
and I've got a logistical issue with having to look at this and also look at the agenda. So I'm going to have to hopefully minimize this somehow and be able to do both at once.
That's why I'm running the laptop right beside my iPad.
I know. Oh, wait a minute. What's this button down here do?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, look at
Oh.
that. Am I still there?
You're not there anymore.
No,
But you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
unfortunately.
Sheesh. Okay, I'm back. Tom's having issues. And Scott, thanks for the offer, but I don't think I want you cutting my hair.
Come on. I'm catching up to Bruce.
What is that?
That was her daughter, I thought.
Oh. There's something interesting going on over there.
I know. Looks like a gathering to me.
Uh-oh.
It's okay, they're in Empire. We don't care.
Any luck getting Tom on, Lindsay? Still trying? You're on mute.
Just start. I'll try and IT him through it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
a baby boy.
Did she have it?
We have a baby boy.
Yay!
Oh,
Congrats.
But I didn't get any of the details. They took off with the phone.
okay, well then I'll try to rush through this. So you
No,
can-
no, it's okay. They're on FaceTime. I can FaceTime them later.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'll get started here. It being 7:15, I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, April 14th Planning Advisory Committee meeting. So we have Scott and OJ and myself, hopefully Tom soon. Are there any disclosures of peculiar interest of general nature thereof? Nope. Before I go to the adopting the agenda, are there any changes to the agenda, Angela or Lindsay?
No.
None
Okay,
from my end. No.
Can I have a mover and seconder, please, for the adoption of the agenda? Okay, I didn't see it. Okay, OJ and Scott. There's no delegations. Can I have a mover and seconder for the adoption of the previous planning advisory minutes? We'll go reverse order this time. Scott and OJ, any issues? There being none, all in favor of receiving his information? Carried. Mover and seconder, please, for reports of committee planning and other boards, 8.1 and 8.2. OJ and Scott, any comments or questions on 8.1? Or 8.2? All in favor of receiving his information? Carried. I love this back and forth. Mover and seconder, please, for information items, 9.1. We'll go with OJ and Scott. So I'm not going to even try to bring this up because I know if I try to do three things at once, it'll boot me out. I've reviewed it. Bruce, typically I ask if you have anything to add above and beyond what was in your report. So here's your opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I don't think we quite got on April Fool's, but I thought it was a joke from the first time I saw it. It was quite a surprise to everybody at the county that we received this decision. We weren't expecting it. There had been no discussions with us about it. It just showed up on our doorstep one day. And the province wouldn't give us even a copy of what the official plan looked like with all these changes. So this is what this decision is. It's the final approval of the official plan. Back March of 2019, so almost a year beforehand, we had received a partial decision where they approved half of the official plan and with a whole bunch of modifications. And there were a whole bunch of controversial pieces that county council had and local municipalities as well had written to the minister asking for meeting and a change of policies from a whole bunch of the modifications that had been being promised. And the idea was that there was going to be a new provincial policy statement coming out in 2020. And the provincial government had promised that that new provincial policy statement would include some more flexibility, especially for rural areas. And so the thinking was that if we got a partial decision, we could get our final approval done after there was a more rural-friendly PPS out in 2020. So in earlier March, I think it was, or maybe February, I'm losing track of some of my dates here, the province announced the PPS that came out. So the province has unveiled their new 2020 provincial policy statement. And then obviously in March, without consulting with us whatsoever on the plan, they issued the decision, the final decision on the official plan. And as you can see, there's quite a few modifications there. And essentially, everything that county council is asking for was, and local municipalities were asking for, that were problems in the first draft, were not addressed. And actually, based on our initial review, is actually worse than the very first one that we had gotten under the 2014 PPS. So we're, as staff, actually last week, I spent all week going through, I had to take both decisions and side by side go through and try to figure out what the modifications and what the decision of the province actually was. I think we have a draft of that now. It's being reviewed by other people at our County of Renfrew office to actually figure out what this decision means for County of Renfrew and McNabb Braeside and everybody. So we're still in that process. It's early days of trying to figure out what it means, but early indication, like based on this is my opinion, is that development in the rural areas of Renfrew County is going to be very hard in the future. There's a lot of changes, and I can get into some specific ones if you guys wanted, or if there's specific areas that you had remembered that were concerns, I can tell you how they were addressed or not. So unless you have some specific questions that I can answer, essentially this is a final decision. We did talk to the ministry, who said that there are no appeals to this process, so nobody can submit an appeal. And I know there's been a couple of township or local municipalities that have already written strong letters of disapproval. I think they copied the Minister Steve Clark, our local MPP, Johnny Akabuski. I think they sent to Roma and a bunch of other places, including all the local municipalities within the township. So there's other local municipalities are not pleased that this is happening, that it has happened, but the ministry has indicated to us that their decision is final. There are no appeals, and they will not be changing or doing any further modifications to the plan at this time. And that we have what we have.
So it's my understanding, Bruce, that you are going to provide a written summary of how it affects each of the municipalities. So council will get that, and then they'll be able to look at it better at a later date.
Yes, so we will work on something. So that's got Craig Kelly and Charles Cheeseman in our office. They're the director and the manager of planning for the County of Renfrew. They're going to be organizing something, putting something together that will be for county council, then from there spread down to all the local municipalities. But at this time, the direction has been there's other pressing priorities due to COVID, and it's the timing is really unfortunate. So it's going to be delayed longer than we would have liked. But yes, eventually we will have something to pass down to all the local municipalities outlining the impacts of this decision on planning.
You're on mute, Brian.
Sorry, didn't realize I was on mute. Oliver, Scott, anything to add or questions? Yeah,
Just,
pretty much said it all.
well, just that we're, all disappointed. And once again, rural Ontario is going to be taking a back seat by the sound of things.
Well, despite the fact that there's no appeal and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, one can hope that, maybe the rural communities across Ontario are feeling the same things, right? So maybe through time, they may take another look at it. But like Bruce said, probably now isn't the time they're going to look at it, but it is what it is. And we'll keep doing what we do and keep fighting the fight to make sure that we can still see some sort of development in our small little communities across the province. OJ, anything from you? No? Okay, let me go back. So all in favor of receiving this information? Carried? Hey. Do we have anybody from the public on the line, Lindsay?
We do. They don't have their hand up, so I guess if they'd like to speak, they need to put their hand up, so I know.
Yeah, so sorry, everybody. At this point in time, we would receive questions from the public.
No hands went up.
Okay, let me switch back here, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So that concludes the agenda items for this meeting. Thank you very much, everyone who joined from the public. Thank you guys for joining this evening, and too bad we missed Tom on this one, but thanks very much. Hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.